Hey, Kool-aid Krew, what's crack-a-lackin'? Somebody give me a 5 for 5 as I get going here, if you could. Just to let me know my audio and all that is all kicking and moving. So let's just kind of get into it. Guys, we got this big coronal hole right here, as you can see. This thing is huge. We're going to talk more about that here in just a second. But check this out. This is Earth scale. That's how big the Earth is compared to this coronal hole. Notice I can zoom this in and out, right? Now check out the one on the bottom too. We've actually got two separate coronal holes, the northern and the southern coronal holes. So this is going to be sending some pretty high speed charged particles at Earth. And with that being said, there you go. Now we're going to measure this here in just a second. Also guys, 40-year cold spells underway. Again, this is Dr. Tony Phillips' webpage here. What you're looking at there is a PSCs, okay, polar stratospheric clouds. They only happen when it gets really cold high up in the atmosphere, in the ionosphere part of our atmosphere. So with that being said, we'll get a little bit more into that too as we get moving here. But yeah, so the main story, guys, is actually this and the coronal hole. So with that being said, let's just kind of move on here. We are 5 for 5. Okay, cool. Hey, Planet Hermit, good to see you. Hey, Jerry, what's up? Good to see you. Rich Lynn, Mary, what's up? Tiger's Eye. And I'm first and foremost, this is what I should have said right off the jump. And I know you guys see that message there. Yeah. I know you guys see it. So that is Miss Dragon. She has had her surgery, and from what I can gather from her, things went well. She's going to be going back and forth for once a week, I believe, is what she was telling us. So the guys, prayers work. Prayers, good thoughts, whatever you do, it's working. And so just let me say that first and foremost. Also, guys, I do want to, hey, IG, good to see you. Hey, Kim. I do want to address why I haven't been here as consistent as I've been trying to be. And I'm not going to talk about this much. This all started back in, December. And I'm only going to, this is going to be very brief because I'm not going to make this video about what's going on in my life. My wife is sick, so we've been doing some testing and things, and yes, it's not the best thing in the world, but we are taking steps to take care of it. So we're just going to kind of leave it at that. I'm not going to go too much into detail, but she does have surgery coming up here in the next few weeks. So that's why my head, and I haven't even told her this because I don't want her worrying about me. It's been messing with me pretty bad. It's hard for me to focus. I just, guys, I don't want to do life without her. That's just me. So I do apologize for not being here consistent. If you go back and look, I was doing a live stream every day religiously around 8, 9, sometimes 10 o'clock at night, Eastern time. And then when we got this news, my head just flipped. So I'm not going to make my channel about that though, okay? So the only reason why I mention it to you guys is so you understand where I was at and what I was doing. Could I have communicated a little bit better to you guys? And I'm going to say no, and the reason why is because I wasn't going to be able to tell you exactly what was going on. So I didn't want to say anything at all, if that makes any sense. I don't want to give somebody this half a story and they're sitting here wondering, well, all these other things. Some of my inner circle, some of the ones here in the chat right now knew, okay. But I didn't even at that. I waited weeks before I said anything. So please understand that. And I'm not afraid to talk about it and stuff like that. But I don't want to make this channel about that. So if I find myself being distracted and just that kind of a thing, that is why, guys. So, and I know it's not your guys' problem. I know it's not your guys' fault, but that is just the truth of what's happening with me right now. So, just so you understand. Hey, Monk, good to see you. And I just want everybody to know, okay, that my heart is here. It really is. You guys brighten my day more than I can say. And I know every time I do a show, I always leave it in a better mood. It was just hard to get that motivation for a while, and I think mentally I'm a little bit better now because we have a course of action that we're taking. So I'm kind of focused. You know what I'm saying? It helped me focus a little bit more. I get very concerned, and like I said, she's not just my wife; she's my best friend. And it's just anybody that has known me for any length of time will tell you what she means to me because I tell the world. I've even got a video out there called What If Right Now video. You guys can go look at it if you want. It's still there on my channel. My What If Right Now video. So that'll really kind of just bring it into focus for you if you really want to know more about me personally and why and how that was all working. But also, I didn't want to take attention away from others that are having issues. Okay? I just don't. That's just me. Right? And like Miss, it's great. I was so happy to hear this yesterday when she texted me and let us know that she was, yeah. So I think I even shed a little bit of a tear there for a second when I read the text. But we get concerned about people we care about, and that's exactly what happened with me. So anyway, we're gonna move on. I wasted 3 or 4 minutes there at the front. I didn't really want to do that, but I wanted to make sure you guys understood where I was at and why I was doing what I'm doing. So we are going to move forward, and I will keep you guys updated if things change or what have you. But and you're probably going to see me post a lot more, and you're going to see me here more consistent is what's going to happen. I feel more focused now than I have in months, and again, it's because we have a path forward now that we're taking. We know what we're doing there, and that's just what we're doing. Hey, Angel, thank you for the gift of membership. Appreciate you. And it's just, yeah, for real, that's awesome. So thank you. Now, I would also say this, too. My family is not the only thing that is having problems, right? I mean, so it makes it hard. As a channel owner, I kind of relate to Adam, right now, because he's going through all that stuff with his tooth, with his mouth and all that. And I understand what he's saying when he says he don't want to come out here and just start talking about it. And it's not because we don't want people to know. It's because we don't want people to feel bad for us and to be here on a pity. You know what I mean? I know I don't, and that's just who I am. And I never will be here on anything like that. So, but thank you, Angel Wings, for the gift of membership. You guys are awesome. We will be doing a members only live stream here the next day or so. There's never a shortage of good Zoom court videos we can watch. We can check out some chiropractic funny stuff there too. Okay, but we're going to be doing that. And I'm sorry, the first 10 minutes of this video is going to suck. So we're about 10 minutes in, so the suckage now henceforth is stopping. Okay, here we go. Okay, guys. Now, this is the boring part as far as the stuff that I show you guys. This is a graph, right? This is what we look at for flares, x-ray. We have been getting a couple M-class flares. Nothing real big, though. The sun, guys, almost went spotless for a day. It didn't do it, but it almost did. And that hasn't happened in years, a couple years. During solar maximum, we expect to have at least one sunspot facing Earth at all times. We are, some people think we've already climaxed and we're kind of just hanging out there at the top. I think we're going to bounce down and come back up and bounce down a couple times. I do think we'll probably see that double solar max, okay? And the reason I say that, I explained that before. And if we take a look at the sun here, guys, you got sunspots here. Well, the best way to do this is to show you this first. Okay, so let me just go over this coronal hole right here because it's already set up and we can see this. But as we're looking at this is Earth scale, right? That's the size of Earth. So, I mean, look at this, guys. I I couldn't begin to try to, do the math and figure out how many Earths would fit in this. And this isn't really even as big as it was. This is actually a little bit smaller than what it was yesterday. If we look at it here on SDO, you can tell that. As it's rotating in, you can see. Now, I did see a thumbnail. I think it was over at Space Weather News. Ben over there, his thumbnail was showing this solar tornado up here. And that's a tall solar tornado, solar vortex. Okay? And so if we were to zoom in on that, and we will do that here in a minute so I'd stay focused here. But I want to make sure that you guys understand that this is huge. This is a huge coronal hole. We've had a couple of these. Why does this matter? Right? Well, this is a hole in the atmosphere of the sun. So with that being said, it opens up and it exposes the surface, and all this plasma, charged particles start flowing out, and it comes to Earth, right? So when it's facing Earth, it's called the Earth strike zone. It's right here. All right. Now, as we keep moving here, this is going to, how can I say this? These holes this big have a pretty decent amount of influence on, like, when CMEs pop off. They actually help steer the CMEs. So let me explain that a little bit. If you get a CME that pops off right next to this coronal hole, I told you guys that this was plasma flowing out of here, right? What is plasma? Plasma is a charged gas. A charged gas means it has a negative and a positive, right? So when the CME erupts, it's charged also. So, depending upon the magnetic fields inside the CME and inside the coronal hole stream, okay, that solar wind, those two, if they're the same, if most of them are say most of them are positive in nature, right? Well, they're going to push away from each other. So it can, at that point, this coronal hole would actually be pushing the CME away, right? Or just whatever direction, away from the solar wind itself. So if it's right in front of us and then a CME pops off right here and they have the same polarity, it's actually going to push the CME a little bit further away from Earth. Now, the exact opposite is true if the polarities are opposite of one another. If the coronal hole stream is positive in nature and the CME is negative, they're going to draw to each other. Now, let me show you this too. The coronal hole stream, when I talk about negative positive, it's right here. That's this phi angle. Okay? So when the phi angle flips, that means the main parts of the magnetic fields inside the solar wind stream here, the coronal hole stream, when that flips, that's what the phi angle is. It flips. So if it's negative, it goes to positive. If it's positive, it goes to negative. It flips often. Okay? And so you can even see that a lot of times when it does flip, look what happens. You see our BZ at that point go negative? Right when the phi angle flipped. Right there. If you look here, same thing. Look down here, look. You see how that we didn't get to -6, that's why you don't have a purple here, but it did influence the BZ, because it went from here at the exact same time, almost mirrored this. Okay? So that's what's happening when we see those things. That's why that matters. Now, again, it's not a big, huge deal this way, one way or the other. It's just the way that it's something we can look at to help us understand if a CME is going to be hitting us or not. Because the coronal holes do affect the direction of CMEs. Or can, I should say. Is probably the better word for that. Okay, so back here to SDO. Now, SDO is the satellite in geosynchronistic orbit. It's from our point of view, right? This is the 211 angstrom of light. So this lets us see this really well, this coronal hole. Now, I'm pointing to this one, but guys, this down here is no slouch. This right here on its own, if this one wasn't there, is enough. Okay? So these two together, yeah. Now they're kind of calculating on this thing to be here between the 30th and the 31st. So the initial increase in the corona hole stream, okay, the increase in activity, as far as speed, as far as density, as far as any of that stuff. So yeah, so that's what's happening with that coronal hole. Now, if you're kind of new here and you don't know why that's black, this is not a hole in the sun. This is a hole in the atmosphere called the corona. Now, why is it black? Why is it darker in color? You see how the deeper purples are showing there too? The reason why is because the surface of the sun is colder than the atmosphere. Again, I've went over that 1,000 times. The Parker probe went out there. Parker SP probe got into the atmosphere of the sun twice now. I think 3 times. I know for sure twice. It was there the day after Christmas this year. But the first time it did it, it was big time stuff because it was the first time we had ever got a satellite that close to the surface of the sun into the atmosphere. Okay? So they're trying to figure out exactly why and how that happens, that the atmosphere is actually hotter than the surface, than the source of the heat. And, you know, they get these little kickback angle. How best is it to explain this? Anyway, I'll just call them kickbacks at this point. Basically, you got heat that goes in, out, and magnetics are working here too. Okay? So you got plasma going up and down, all kinds of different angles, right, inside, but it never leaves the sun. So it's actually creating some energy there, and there's some theory there, and there's a whole lot of different science with this that I don't even completely understand yet. Okay, I look at it probably every other day just to try to gain a better understanding, and I understand it more and more each time I look at it, but I don't understand it full enough to be able to give you guys any conclusive whatever here when we're talking about this. Okay, now so with that all going up and down, that increase of energy, they think that that's partly why the atmosphere builds that heat. And then it's just like clouds here on our planet. Okay, a lot of people think, well, yo, thank God the clouds are out, it's going to be cool today. Well, it's cool underneath the cloud until if the whole planet was covered with clouds, guess what? It's like a blanket. It helps hold the heat in. So that's kind of what, you know, that's part of the corona theory, and there's a bunch of different ones. So we'll just leave that at this point. Now, as far as how big this thing is, and again, guys, we'll come back to this solar tornado here in just a second. But as far as this goes, we have another way to do this. Okay, remember I showed you guys the other day. This is a HelioViewer, and I've been showing you guys this a lot lately. So let me I am going to back that off a little bit so we get a better idea. We can see the whole sun here. If that's too much, I apologize. Let's just do it. Well, it's hard to do it with a roll wheel, which is what's on my mouse. So let me. If you guys ever come over here to HelioViewer, this button right here actually will center the sun back up in the image for you. I didn't know that until like yesterday. Anyway, so this is what the sun looks like right this second, right? Looks like it's mad at us, right? You got kind of like your eyes here and the nose and a frowning mouth here, kind of a scowl. Yeah. Anyway, what we're going to do is we can take this Earth scale and we can change it to kilometers, right? So if we take it and we start measuring, that's 88, 166, and then we'll go 2 more. That's 166 and 166, which is what? 1, 2, 3, 20, 32, 332 kilometers. Anyway, this thing is roughly a little over 400 kilometers wide. 400,000 kilometers wide. Sorry, I left that word thousand out of there. That's important. So as we're looking at this, yeah. Oh, and let me say something else here too. I forgot. We need prayers for Jammer too. Him and his family are going through some stuff too. Health issues all around, guys. So just so you know, I didn't want to like miss that also. Jammer's my man. You know what I'm saying? He's awesome. Awesome dude. We actually met in person about a month and a half ago. Well, was it before Christmas? I think it was. Back in December. Anyway. So you guys can come over here and measure this yourself if you want. But again, guys, look. Down here, same thing. But most people oops. What the heck did I do there? What am I doing? What did I do? Okay. That's better. Now, let's bring it back into view here. Most people understand that more, okay? That helps us understand visually what we're actually looking at here, okay? So, with that being said, right, this is a huge coronal hole. It is going to be the main space weather news for the next few days, barring some massive CME or something that might happen. But as of right now, this is going to be what we're going to be talking about, because this has the potential to get us into G1, maybe even G2 solar storm, okay? A geomagnetic storm. Now, with that being said, let me take you guys over to here one more time. This is SDO, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to the 304, and we're going to take a look at that solar tornado, okay? That solar vortex. They call them, you can call it whatever you want, really. I'm not sure exactly what they actually use officially. I would probably say solar vortex is most likely the terms that they would be using. But the 304 is one we look at when we're looking at like CMEs. We see CMEs here. It's ionized helium. We see CMEs a lot better. We see the darker shadows and stuff from magnetic filaments. All those things are happening right there. Okay? And we're able to see it better on this red view. Now, they give it this red color because they wanted to. They could have given it whatever color they wanted. So we're looking at an angstrom of light. And when we look at that specific angstrom of light, you get a specific gas that shows up. And this one happens to be ionized helium. Okay? But as you can tell, look at this thing. I mean, that is tall. So if we go over here and we just compare it to this kind of roughly, it's right here. It's about this tall. I know it's kind of hard to see on this purple view, but look how tall this thing is. It's huge. So it's a very tall one. And again, Space Weather News, Ben's channel, it used to be called Suspicious Observer. He actually changed the name of the channel to Space Weather News, I believe, is what he changed it to. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's what he did. But I happened to catch a thumbnail on that. I didn't really get a chance to watch the video, but that's where I seen that. So what we can do is we can zoom in on this, and this is SDO, and I'm showing you this one because it's a little bit more vibrant than Helio Viewer. And there's really not a whole lot I can do with that, you know. But hey, look at this thing. So what are we looking at here, right? This isn't like wind blowing around on our planet. What that is those are highly charged particles that are on a magnetic connection line, and that magnetic connection line has taken that shape of a solar vortex right there. Yes, it's moving, okay, but it's not blowing like air. It's not high pressure moving into low pressure or vice versa, like we get wind here on our planet, okay? That's not how things work on the sun. So just understand that. And as this stuff's traveling through space, it's mainly driven by magnetics, and you get the initial burst of whatever we want to talk about. I mean, obviously, you get that like kinetic power, I guess, if you want to go down these technical terms, and gravity would affect it too. Because it has mass. Particles have mass, guys, so they're going to be affected by gravity, even though it might not be greatly. But the main driving factor is magnetics. So when we're talking about the sun, that's why you're going to hear from most people is magnetics. Space weather, all of that. Hey, Kay! 9 months? Heck yeah! No kidding. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being such a solid person for me. I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. K+4. If you guys don't know what K+4 means, I'm going to tell you right now what that means. She somehow her account got messed up a little bit one time, and it wasn't too long ago actually, and she had to start a second account. And when she did, she lost her number of months here, but then she was able to figure out how to get her other account back. So she's back here now. So it's cool. Hey Jeremy, good to see you. Hey Surgery. Jeremy, are you Ron? Because I haven't seen Ron in a minute, and I think you guys have the same avatar. If you are, let me know. I don't know if you are or not. It doesn't matter. I'm just curious. I haven't seen Ron in a minute, and I haven't seen Genius by Birth. If anybody's seen those guys, I worry about them because they were here every day mostly, and I haven't seen them in a few. I get a little concerned when my Kool-aid Krew isn't here every day, well, when I'm not, and you know, yeah, I guess that's probably part of it. Well, thank you, Trish. Wow, thank you. 5 gets in memberships, that's awesome. No, you're not. I think I've asked you that before too, Jeremy. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Guys, tell them thanks whoever got those. Trish, you're awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate that so much. I really, truly do. I really wish there was a bigger word for all that. I wish I had a word to that. Hey, J-Poss, good to see you, bud. Tiger's Eye's in here too. Okay. All right. Hey, Kim. Guys, give me a roll call in there if you could. Just roughly where you're at. All right. Now, 40 years. Oh, wow, Planet Hermit. 10 memberships. Whoa. Wow, thank you. You guys are just... Yeah. You guys are just... I'm all jacked up in the head right now anyway, and you guys going doing this stuff to me just gets me all emotional again. But anyway, thank you, Herman. I really do appreciate you. Hey, Isaac. All right, where we at, guys? Utah, Surgery 6. North Carolina, that's right, Isaac. Ohio, okay, that's right. Trish. Virginia Olson. Hey, Virginia, good to see you. I think I asked you if you were related to Steve once, and you said no, so. And a member for 10 months. Whoa, OG in the house. Love it. Thank you, Planet Herman. I really do. I mean, you know how I feel. Mark Matheny, what's up, West Virginia? Good to see you. 3068. Let's see here. Hey, Kathy, she's from, I know where she's from. Aloha, girl. Angel, what's happening? We know where you're at. The Boogie Down Bronx, baby, holding it down. Kim Possible. That's right. It's in the house. Miss, I'm glad you're here. I can't tell you. I know it might sound a little corny, but there was a huge weight lifted when you texted me. I really was. You had me all jacked up there for a minute. I care about you guys, and when I care about somebody and somebody's going through some major stuff like that, I worry. You can ask my wife. I worry bad, actually. Too much, really. Hey, Stephanie, good to see you. Texas in the house. Let's see here. R. Hobbs, what's up? Grass Lake, baby. Houston's where Stephanie's from. Southeast New Mexico. Heck yeah. Love that. That's right. J-Poss, I thought you said it was Grass Valley, California. Just kidding. Oh, man. Anyway. All right. Seattle Mary's in the house. Howdy, Texas. That's right. IG's in the house. Heck yeah. I think Ron was live a few minutes ago. If you guys haven't been over to Ron's channel, you need to get over to Emergency Management Associates. Okay? Anyway. Okay. And I'm sorry I'm kind of bouncing around here a little bit, guys. I'm finding my groove again. Okay? I think I'm staying a lot more focused than I thought I was going to. But anyway, these are the PSCs that we've been talking about, right? They're polar stratospheric clouds. And I have to give a lot of credit to Dr. Tony Phillips. Spaceweather.com. If you guys don't go visit this site every day, you're doing yourself a disservice. You truly do need to come over here and just take a look at it. It's a website. And if I get one of my mods to put, hey, Pam B, good to see you. Hey, lower class. But these clouds are special, guys. They're rare, number one. Number two, they look kind of like, who said that the other day? They look like an oil slick. I think it might have been JPOS or surgery. One of you guys. I can't remember who it was. But yeah. There's Ron's link in there, guys. Go check them out. It's okay, Una Poco. Good to see you. Glad you're here. But these clouds, they take on this like sheen, like an oil slick. Okay. If you could kind of think of yourself like on a really hot summer day, like walk out to the street and just look down the street, and you're going to see like some oil residue on the pavement or what have you. And if you get close to it, it'll take on this. Something else it reminded me of, I brought this up to my wife. Now, the people that are around my age are going to know what I'm talking about. If you're younger than me, you might not. You guys remember those? You could go to the toy store or whatever store that you got where you bought toys, and they were in this little package, and it had this tube of plastic, right? It was liquid plastic, and it had this straw, and it was almost like rubber, but you would take a ball of that and stick it on top of that straw, and you would blow into it. It would make this big ball or whatever shape it would take. You made it take, and it had that same look, that same sheen around it. Can't remember what they called those things, but they're kind of, they were kind of like balloons, but you could pop them and redo it and everything else. They were pretty cool. I used to have a lot of fun with them when I was a kid, but now they got Nintendo, so Xbox or whatever. So anyway, but I'm not sure if you guys remember that. Hey, Stephen A., good to see you. Skywatch is in the house. Heck yeah. Blow the bubbles. Yeah, you guys remember that? Ain't anybody? I'm probably taking anybody my age straight back to their kid, right back to their childhood. Hey, Sage Pup, good to see you. Do they still make it? Wow. Pam B, my neighbor. Hey, Marilyn, good to see you. Plastic balloons. Yeah, they're awesome, aren't they? Hey, Hilly, good to see you, bud. Super elastic bubble plastic. Thank you for that. Seriously, Hilly, I've wondered what they were. Obviously, I could have Googled it or whatever, but yeah. I'm glad you guys remember that. It makes me not feel so ancient, I guess. I used to have a lot of fun. I remember going to my grandma's during spring break. She just lived the town over in Ohio, and we would go down to the outlet mall, and she would always get me some of that stuff when I was a kid. Awesome stuff, man. Awesome. But guys, listen, what did I tell you guys about this view right here? You guys remember? But what Dr. Tony Phillips did here, I'm not sure if he did this or somebody else did it. Let's see here. Fred Dieters did this. He stitched these together. This was really cool. I had not thought about doing this, and I might do this in the future. This is Soho. That's Comet Atlas that we've been talking about. This is Stereo A. That's a total different satellite. Different angle and everything. The sun is here on that, right? The sun's here on this one, but here's the comet, and he picks it up right here and just kind of stitched it together right there. That is awesome. That was very cool, very creative what he did there. So Fred Dieters, props to you. I mean, that's awesome. That really is. And I will be doing a full video on this, probably 5 to 6, maybe 7 minutes long, just explaining this one, and I'm going to put it in a playlist so you guys have it to see. Because this was, last time that this comet was here was 160,000 years ago. It got its head blowed off by the sun this time. It's disintegrated. And everybody was still talking about it because it was still naked eye visible, the tail was, for multiple days after. So this was significant. It obviously it's never going to come back again because it got destroyed. But, yeah. So, anyway, I just wanted to share that with you, too. But the PSCs here, guys, these only happen very, very cold. And why? Why does it have to be so cold? Well, because the molecules are spaced so far apart up in our ionosphere, and that's the only place in our atmosphere. Well, I don't say the only place, but that is really the where you can get clouds. That's the only spot that gets that cold. Okay, so the molecules are spaced so far apart. It takes weather that cold to be able to freeze them in a way that they're able to collect at least a little bit here and produce a cloud, right? And you come down lower, it's not that cold. But this is a 40-year thing. This is our polar jet has been the polar jet stream has just been, I mean, just busted. It's flowing down. Okay, all the cold air usually sits out on top of our planet on the north has just been flowing down to lower latitudes. Okay, obviously we had the first ever blizzard warnings down around the Gulf of well, whatever you want to call it now, America, Mexico, whatever we call it now. I'm not even sure. Anyway, around the Gulf there, I'll just call it the Gulf. How about that? Um, yeah, first time in history they issued blizzard warnings down there in some of those parts. But we had the coldest weather we'd had in so many years here in Indiana. It was, yeah, it had been a minute. You know, when you walk to the mailbox and back, and you got snot sickles 4 feet long, you know it's cold outside. I mean, I've been getting, guys, I haven't had a bloody nose in about 4 years. I'm serious. And because of all this cold weather, it's made it so dry, I actually ended up with a bloody nose. It sucked. I haven't had one of those in a long time. But, you know, it just is what it is. But that's just another way to show you that, hey, this was cold. Cold stuff, guys. And I mean cold, cold stuff. But, yeah. But that's what it takes here. Now, do you guys want to see the atmosphere part that this was actually part of, where these things are formed? I went over this a little bit, but not to the way I really wanted to. So this is Earth's atmosphere. Now, this was produced by, I think this is a NASA image that they used. But you guys, these are the areas of our atmosphere, the layers, okay? So you got the troposphere, right? And that's kind of like ground level. We're just going to kind of say that. Then you got the stratosphere, right? And you got the mesosphere, sphere, and all that. And then you got the thermosphere, exosphere. Ionosphere is between the thermosphere and the exosphere, right here. Okay? So these clouds are being produced up here. I'm sorry, I'm wrong. Not the ionosphere. I don't know why I kept saying ionosphere earlier. They're PSCs, stratosphere. I'm sorry, guys, I was wrong. I don't know why I kept using that word. But I was like looking at this. I'm like, no, these things are lower. So yeah, it's PSC, polar stratospheric clouds. Again, I went over this before, but and as you can see, let's just go ahead and go a little bit further here, and so we can see what's going on here. So this is where those hang out. Now that's a balloon, guys, right? So this is how high they're up here. Now you start talking about aurora, it's up here, and then you got air glow. Air glow, guys, is when you get heat that leaks down further than what it typically does, and it produces a phenomenon very similar to aurora. I'm not going to go into what's going on with that, but when you guys hear us talk about the Schumann resonance, right? I talk about that quite a bit. I used to talk about it every show, but I felt like everybody understood it at that point, and I could just give you guys time-to-time updates. But the Schumann resonance is that vibrational frequency that us as humans, we need the 7.83 hertz to be quote-unquote normal, right? That's what we expect. Our bodies expect that. But that frequency, they're measuring it, it's bouncing around between the surface and the ionosphere up here. Okay? So those frequencies are bouncing around in there. That's where they measure the Schumann resonance. Okay? But we'll just say that. All right? But again, that's just where that's how that's measured. So you guys have an understanding of that. Our satellites are here, guys. So see how close the satellite is to the top part of our ionosphere? They call this low Earth orbit, pretty much. And that's where most of our satellites hang out. It's there for a whole lot of reasons. Guys, the satellites aren't up there and being forced into a position to like circle Earth. Okay? That's not what's happening. the satellites are in a continuous state of falling back to Earth. And we use the other forces involved to keep it in orbit. So, yeah, that's what's happening here. Just so you understand. Now, you can do some research on orbital mechanics and things like that. You'll get a better understanding of that. But, you know, I'm not going to go over that today. But I would say that that's a good thing to go over, guys, have a better understanding. So this is where our satellites are at. Now, we can go up here, and then you got your exosphere. Now, granted, they came out with the article about 2 years ago where they found oxygen molecules hanging around the moon, right? So then they said the moon was in our atmosphere. It is, but it's a technical thing. Okay? I mean, there were so few molecules that they found up there that, yeah. So I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm not going to go into that subject because that just does get a little... some people get heated over that one for some reason. Well, anytime we talk about our nighttime friend hanging out there in the sky, people get upset if you don't agree with them. So that's why I don't typically go down those roads. So, but I'll talk about, you know, news. I do the Nowcast. You guys know that. Most of you guys know that anyway. Okay, so this is our magnetosphere. Sun's off to the left, and what we're going to see here is solar wind and whatever other space weather we got moving from left to right. Now, anybody that's watched me for a minute knows that this isn't usually what it looks like on a normal day. Okay? And it's looked like this for multiple days now. And the couple days I didn't stream here earlier here on in the week are, and I'm going to take you guys back here for this one. Our geomagnetic activity, we had 2 days where there was almost none. It was hanging down below 1, okay, on the KP. When that happens, we're susceptible to cosmic rays. We don't ever want to be down that low for an extended period of time. Cosmic rays are pretty dangerous. They can make us sick over extensive, you know, if you're exposed to them a lot, right? So people, mainly pilots, people that fly high altitudes and close to the poles, are more susceptible to this. They regulate how many hours are allowed to fly in those conditions. Okay? If you exceed a certain amount of hours during those conditions, they won't let you fly. If you're pregnant, please pay attention to this. Same thing. Okay? It's like taking an x-ray. That's the amount of radiation you're talking about here. At certain times. Not always. This is certain times. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Amy, you're talking about those little... I'm glad you guys like that analogy. I was afraid people wouldn't relate to that. That was, that's kind of neat to see. Thank you for that. Let's see here. But anyway, I want to make sure you guys understood that. But this is density, right? Typically when we look at this, you'll see a white area in the shape of like Earth. Almost looks like a comet, right? Going through the sky here, or through space. But what you're seeing here is very low density everywhere. Until right there. Right? So that's a little bit of an increase in density. It was just an increase in solar wind. It wasn't a big deal. Right? So, but inside our magnetosphere here, the stuff inside our protection is going to be a little bit less dense. Almost every time. So, I'm showing you this because when we start getting hit with this increased solar wind here in the next day or so, this is going to change in a drastic way. Okay? I want you guys to understand that. Now remember this. Take a mental note right now what this looks like. When we get hit with the increased solar wind, if and when, because I don't think it's really a matter of if, I do think it's a matter of when in this case. That coronal hole is just too big. Not to mention that our KP is already on its way up. We almost went into well, I don't say almost into geomagnetic storm, but we got to a KP of 4 a day and a half ago. Now, just a day or, you know, a KP of 5 is the lowest level geomagnetic storm. But take a mental note here, guys. Okay, next time I show you this, when we get hit with that stream, this is going to look a whole lot like blue. Okay? It's going to be a lot of blue. That dark blue. And you're going to see stuff moving around typically too. Now, this is speed up here. What you're going to notice in this one, these are going to turn that darker red color. Okay, and you're going to see a whole lot of movement on this one. Typically, anyway. So as conditions flux around a little bit, that color will change very quickly. Now, with the red colors here, this is magnetic pressure. You notice how you can't really see a bow shock here? And let me explain something here. This right here is really kind of a really good image to show you, because this is our bow shock out here, our first point of contact. Okay, it might not be exactly there, it might be out here right now, but this is kind of representing that right here. The first point of contact between space weather and our magnetic field is called the bow shock, and it's just like a boat going through water. Okay, that's just what I'll say. Now, I will say this. This is very, this right here is a good way to show you guys, this is what it usually looks like. Okay? If I was to show you this up here on a different day when we had just a little bit more activity, this right here would look very similar to this. You can see a little bit of it right there. Okay? Notice how it's bigger in the front, a little bit smaller here in the back. That's just the shape of it, right? Now, same thing with the speed here too. We can kind of get a small glimpse on the velocity, but not usually. But we all know we all understand pressure, right? So this is just magnetic pressure. Now, with that being said, you see how this oval is kind of like smushed side to side, not up and down? That's because when we get hit in the front, it kind of flattens it. Now, right now, it's not enough pressure to do hardly anything. Okay? This is not excessive at all. This isn't worrisome in the least little bit. Matter of fact, if it looked like this all the time, we would be in perfect condition. And the reason why, we would still have enough magnetism hanging around. We would still be able to deflect cosmic rays. Okay? So that's one of the biggest things there. You know, we don't want where we don't have any geomagnetic activity. We have to have some, guys. If not, we would all be sick. I'm not saying that just to say it. I'm not even playing that up. That's just the truth. So, anyway, this is the CME detector at NOAA. This is the official forecast, right? So if you look here on the 31st, they don't really have a whole lot showing here. I think they're going to end up changing this. Okay? The last time this was updated was on the 28th. So I do think they're going to change this for that coronal hole stream, and it's going to look a little different. Especially about right here. You're probably going to see Earth kind of just, you see all this right here? And we're probably going to get engulfed with this increased space weather, is what's going to happen. You know, I can't say 100%, obviously. I just can't do that. I don't have a crystal ball, right? That's just what it is. You bump your head a lot? Hilly, I love you, brother. For real. You make me smile every time. Anyway, so yeah. So that's what's up with that. Now, this is the yeah. Come on, Wade. Just spit it out. This is the geoelectric field. Okay? Not geomagnetism. We're talking about geoelectric. And this is at the surface. This is trying to represent space weather's effect on unnatural electrical components. That's what this does. That's what this model's here for. It's here to help us understand a better way to help forecast earthquakes in the future. Okay? If we understand this more, we can understand some of the parameters at a better and a more comprehensive way to be able to help forecast earthquakes in the future. Right? I don't know how to do earthquakes at all. I can talk about an earthquake. I know how they work. I know, you know, when they're deep and when they're shallow and all that. Now, I do know enough to say this, and this is why I'm showing you guys this one right now, okay? That when our sun looks like this, okay? Coronal holes facing Earth. Earthquakes, seismic activity always jumps up. Oh my God. Genius, where you been? Wow, thank you so much for that. Wow, that is very generous, girl. Seriously. I'm so glad you're here. I've been worried about you. I really have. I've been asking about you everywhere. Thank you for that. So generous. Wow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Such a, wow. So cool, so cool. Thank you. I don't even know what to say to that. That's awesome. Awesome, awesome. I don't know what to say about anybody who donates anything. Because it blows my mind you guys want to hear some hillbilly talk about space weather. Wow. Thank you. That's crazy. Thank you. Hilly, what are you doing there? Hey, genius, you know what Hilly just said? Did you read that? Here, I'll put it up there for you. Let's put it up here for you. You might get some pushback on that one, Hilly. You might be starting to fight here, man. She ain't one to sit back and just let somebody say anything. I'm telling you. Here, let me find it. Where'd you put that at, man? I want to highlight that. That was funny. You guys are killing me in there. Goodness. Wow. That's all I can say. I don't even know what to say after that. I'm not even going to put it up there. If she wants to read it, it's there. She can, I guess if I can find it. My stupid thing is just like moving around crazy here. Let's see if I can't do it this way. There it is. Here. Now it's up there. Genius, read that. He's cracking jokes. Thank you. Thank you so much for that, Genius. I'm glad. I'm more glad that I know you're okay. Seriously. But thank you so much for that. It's very generous. Wow. I just don't even know what to say sometimes, guys. You guys really do you guys give me faith in men and women. You really do. I lost a lot of faith in a long time of just this world, period. When I see people doing that, it just, yeah, you bring my faith back. You really do. So thank you. Hey, Virginia. Good to see you. Anyway, wow. Thank you. That's game, man. I don't even know what to say. Sometimes you guys just do things to me. It just really just knocked me for a loop. Okay, so what I'm going to end on here, guys, is these polar stratospheric clouds. Okay, hey, Major, good to see you. Yeah, exactly, lower class. It's hey, Kristen, good to see you. So yeah, you know what? Before we get out of here, don't nobody leave yet. Please don't leave yet. Let's get some ones in the chat. Matter of fact, let's get some sevens in that chat for Miss this time. I'm just picking 7 just because she had some good news. Okay, her surgery went well, and there it is. There you go. Wow, that is so cool. Man, Genius, you're killing it. You need to write a book. That's cool. That's a cool saying. Wherever there is a human, there is kindness to be shared. Wow. So cool. And in case you haven't heard, Miss surgery went well. And she's killing it. She's killing it. Love it. Love it. Love it. So we're gonna ride that one, you know, for sure. You know what? When we ask for prayers and when some of those prayers and good thoughts are answered, we got to be out here saying that too. Okay? We don't want to just be asking for it all the time, and then when the good things happen, not say anything about it. You know what I mean? Hey, cool kid, good to see you. So we're gonna come out here and we're gonna put that out there too. And that's how we restore faith in humanity. It really is. We can't just ignore when the positive stuff happens. Now, Miss has got a long road here, I would imagine. You know, she's going to be going back, you know, driving over that pass for what? What'd you say, Miss? For at least 4 or 5 weeks, once a week? I mean, that's a big deal. You know? So, yeah. And thank you all for just being here for Not just me, but for everybody. I mean, it's just so cool to see you guys. It really is. See you guys do that. Yeah, yeah. See, that's and you know, and I think that guys, I know that we heal better when we stay in a positive mind frame. I know we do. I've experienced that myself multiple times. In case you guys didn't know, I've had 33 surgeries in my life. I've had a lot of medical procedures. And with that being said, when you get down, I'm telling you, it affects you physically. Exactly, Planet Hermit. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Keep taking us some pictures, though. see what I'm saying? You guys, I mean, you don't understand, you know? Yeah, exactly, genius, for sure. Look what Miss just said. Yep, got to travel over the mountain pass so they can add water to my falsies. You know, who? I mean, it's just so cool. That's just such a positive attitude. It really is. You know, you would catch some people saying, "Oh man, I got to drive over that pass, even though it's one of the most beautiful sights you've ever seen. Even though it's hard to drive over, but it's the most beautiful thing. And man, I tell you, I got to go do all that, and they're gonna do this and that. And oh my gosh, you know that ain't Miss. She ain't doing none of that. She's on the positive end of things. Good night, Isaiah. Good to see you. Thank you for being here, and I hope you feel better. I knew you were struggling with some things there too. So, hey Jen, good to see you. Oh, we love you back, for sure. We love you back. Yeah, yeah. Yep, 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 yep. Yeah. Crazy, isn't it? Love it. It's just, yeah, you guys are just awesome. You really are. So, that's right, J. Foss. The sevens, I love that. Sevens, I always love that number 7. So, all right, guys, I am going to go ahead and end this one. And guys, what I will say, get over and check out Miss channel. Get over and check out Axe and Nacho. Get over and check out Ron. Go to my awesome channel list. If you guys just go to my awesome channel list, I promise you, I'm not going to send you to somebody that is just nasty and mean. Okay? Now, whether you like their information or not, that's another story. That's up for you to decide. But if you want to have a good time, get over and check out Axe and Nacho. Get over and check out Mark Pyers. And my gosh, if you want the best alternative news, independent, you need to get over and check out Marfugal. He's probably going to be going live here in just a minute. And I tell you guys, he's been fighting some really, really rough stuff in his mouth. And it's I've had oral issues myself, and it is not fun. And he's pushing through it, guys. And so, but just know, for me, right now, I told you guys what was up. You know, my wife's going through that. We're going to be having surgery here in the next few weeks. And I'd be lying to you if I said I was completely okay. But I am better. I feel a little bit more focused now that we have a plan, if that makes any sense to you. You know, again, she's my best friend, and it even little things bother me when it's bothering her. And I just can't, yeah. I literally cannot see my life without her. I have no idea what that would even look like. And I can tell you, I just wouldn't want to do it. But we're going to keep moving forward and staying positive. And, you know, so I look to be here every day as much as I can. I'm going to say I'll see you on my next video, but most likely my next video is going to be tomorrow, because I am a lot more focused now. My mental state, I can feel that it has gotten to a better positive end. And there was just days I couldn't get here, guys. You guys wouldn't have wanted me to be here. I promise you that. Because I really was in that foul of a mood. It had me all jacked up. So, we'd been through something similar a few years back. She had some hip issues that they thought might be the big C also. That turned out it wasn't, thank God. But this time, it is. So, yeah. Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and end this before I get too stupid here. All right, guys. Yeah. Get over and check out Marfugel here in just a few minutes. I just looked for my notification. I haven't seen anything. Oh wow. You guys need to go check that out. Seriously. Right here, guys. Hold on a minute. Don't go nowhere. Don't go nowhere. I haven't seen any. Okay. So let me do this real quick. Give me 1 second. I just seen this come across. You guys are going to want to see this. Right here. Okay? I don't know who was on this plane or what have you, but yeah. What do we got there? Am I missing memberships here or something here? What's going on there? Give me a second, guys. I'm gonna. Oh man, you guys donating stuff here? PZ, thank you for the 5 gifted memberships. Appreciate you, 100%. Catherine, all right. Oh wow. All right. Now, okay. So, guys, get over here. This is Steve. Okay, I'm not gonna sit here and just show his channel, but go over here, guys. Okay, I'm going to. This is agenda free. I'm going to put this link, unless some of my moderators have already done it. I'm gonna go ahead and copy that, and we will put that in our chat here. I don't want to stay on that because I don't want an issue to happen with the algorithm there, because it won't like it. Let's do this. Come on, paste that. There we go. So there's the link to Agenda Free's channel. So thank you guys for everything, guys. Well, thank you, Sage Pup. I appreciate you. Thank you for saying that. But get over there and do that, guys. Okay? Check that out. He's live with it right now. Steve's an awesome guy. A lot of you guys probably know Agenda Free. Okay? You probably do. But I would imagine that Marfugel is going to be reporting on this also. So, that's just what I'll say. And I am planning on being over there at Adam's channel also. I'm a mod over there, so I'll probably see you guys there. Let me get back to what I was doing here. Sorry about that, guys. Alright, guys. God bless. Yahusha saves. And as always, I'll say it one more time because that sun wasn't up there. How about that? God bless. Yahusha saves. Thank you guys for everything. And you can drink this Kool-Aid.